Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. So today we're going to be reviewing Backbone Bourbon Company's newest release, The Forge. Now, this one is a blended bourbon whiskey. It consists of 3 different MGP whiskeys. It is a 5-year straight bourbon, an 8-year straight rye, and a 14-year light whiskey. Now, this one is batch number 31, and it comes in at 110 proof. Really excited to get into this one. It is definitely an interesting blend. But let's see what it's all about, guys. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome back. So let's go ahead and get into the nose. Wow, so a lot of rye spices on this one, but there's also a lot of sweetness on there as well. Definitely some candied sweetness in there for sure. Maybe even like a little bit of a milk chocolate a little bit further into the glass. Definitely some rye spices. I can pick up some of that rye on the nose. Not overpowering, but it's definitely there. Tons of just vanilla. There's a lot of vanilla in this glass. Vanilla, rye. A little bit of an orange peel, some honey. I get a little bit of a like an earthy note to it too. Maybe like an herbal note. Very faint, but it's definitely there. Like really into the glass. Further away, it's a lot of that sweetness. Further into it, you're picking up some of those that rye. You're picking up some of that some of those earthy notes like herbal, maybe. A lot of vanilla though, like a vanilla custard all over the glass. So there's definitely a little bit of citrus in there too. A little bit of orange, like lemon peel. Really nice nose. I mean, the color's great too. I mean, very dark. And like a copper hue to it. All right, guys, get into the palate. Cheers. Wow. I was not expecting that. That's really good. So, man, that one just sits right on the, it just saturates the tongue, just sits right on there. Long, spicy finish, medium to long finish. But the flavors are all over the place on this one. Really bold, strong spiciness, like right from the front to the middle of the palate. Spiciness does die down as it goes to the back. This one does drink hotter than 110 proof, in my opinion. I'd say it's somewhere maybe up in the 120 range. Probably has a lot to do with those rye spices. Man, but yeah, I mean, this is it really coats the palate. Really, I mean, just sits right on the tongue. Yeah, a lot of spiciness going on in there. Let's get into the second sip, guys. Man, don't sleep on this one here. So there's some of that vanilla that I was getting on the nose, definitely right there on the front of the palate. You do pick up some of the rye grain on the front to middle of the palate. Definitely some spiciness to it. But there's like this warm baked apple pie that kind of goes from the middle of the palate into the back. There is a little bit of like a peppery finish that goes that goes from the middle to the palate to the back, like a white pepper. You got citrus that sits there on the sides of the palate. A lot of citrus on this one. Rye, like the rye grain, the rye spices that really just dominate the front to the middle of the palate, and it just sits there. It's a medium to long finish, a little bit more on the longer side, but there's just like this baked apple pie that just goes right from the middle of the palate into the finish, lingering along with that like white pepper. Man, this is really, really good. Now, I don't know. I've never had a blend like this before that's been a straight bourbon, a straight rye, and a 14-year light whiskey. So there definitely is some sweetness. There's a lot of that vanilla that I pick up on the nose on the front. A lot of that vanilla. And then those spices just dominate the front to the middle. And it just sits. It sits right on the tongue. And it lingers and lingers and lingers. Let's get into the last sip, guys. Cheers. Oily. Oh, that baked apple. Oh my God, that is good. Baked apple, some like cinnamon red hots that go into the finish, some white pepper, a lot of vanilla on the front, with that, the front to middle with that rye. You definitely pick up a little bit of that grain. I like that though. It doesn't signify that it's young. I mean, you have a 5-year, an 8-year, and a 14-year whiskey blended in here. And then some of those citrus notes that kind of sit on the sides of the palate, some of that orange, some of that lemon, that zest. The finish on this is just, it's unreal. It is a long, lingering finish. The fruitiness of that apple and like that baked pie crust. It's like an apple pie with some like caramel turned in there, a little bit of white pepper into the finish, that little spicy finish, and it just lingers and lingers and lingers all over the palate, just sits right on top. Guys, don't sleep on this. This is a hell of a blend right here. Again, a 5-year straight bourbon, an 8-year straight rye, and a 14-year light whiskey. As far as blends go, like this, they must have took their time with this one, because this is just, now you talk about complexity and flavor, bold flavor, spicy. This has a lot of that in here. Hell of a job here by Backbone Bourbon Company. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to send a big thank you over to the folks at Backbone Bourbon Company for supplying me with a bottle to review on a channel. Guys, don't sleep on this bottle. Don't sleep on this bottle. If you have a chance to go out and get it, buy it. And that was only a neck pour. I mean, what I reviewed was based off of a neck pour. When this opens up, I really want to see what this bottle does for me here. Honestly, this is probably one of the better whiskeys I've been able to try this year. There is definitely complexity to this whiskey. Again, having those blends of a 5-year straight bourbon, an 8-year straight rye, and a 14-year light whiskey, the flavors are all over the place. It coats the palate extremely well. Gives you that spice, that rye flavor. That baked apple pie into the finish is just, it's tremendous. Very, very good blend here by Backbone Bourbon Company. And really looking forward to seeing what this thing tastes like a little bit, once we get a little bit further down, guys. But if you're looking for more reviews like this, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You can also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.